It all kicked off with my grandpa, who struck gold in robotics after falling head over heels for my grandma. My dad met my mom on a cruise ship. My siblings? They both found love and are living the dream. And then there's me, the perpetual singleton, until my folks decided that ChatGPT could stand in for an actual boyfriend. Hey, I'm Elina, and I'm a firm believer that there's a perfect person out there for everyone. Probably because everyone in my family has found theirs. My best friend, Melissa, though, she's convinced I'll end up an old maid, surrounded by cats in a cluttered garage. You can't keep blaming your family for setting the bar sky high, she tells me. The problem is you. Being picky isn't a crime, okay? It's like hunting for the perfect shoe. Too tight, and you'll get blisters. Too loose, and you'll trip and break your neck. Get my drift? I get that you're a total psycho. You've turned down 4 guys this week, and it's only Tuesday. She wasn't completely wrong, but it's not like the guys at school were anything to write home about. I wanted someone who'd go to the mat for me, who'd brave rivers of molten lava just to bring me McDonald's at 11 p.m. Melissa, on the other hand, would date pretty much anyone who batted an eyelash her way. You never know until you give it a shot, she'd say. So, yeah, I stayed single all through high school. And that final summer, while Melissa was out on a dating spree, I was holed up in my room, wallowing in self-pity over my painfully single status. Then, one night, Grandma strolled into my room. Come with me to the lab, love. I have something to show you. The lab was a secret underground hideaway where my grandparents spent hours tinkering with tech. I loved visiting when I was a kid until I tripped over some wires and fried their entire system. That put an end to my lab visits. Until now. Everything looked just as I remembered. The massive metal door, the dimly lit room packed with computers and blinking lights. And there, near a towering glass tank filled with swirling mist, stood Grandpa. What's going on? We noticed you've been feeling down, so we made you something special. With that, Grandpa scanned his eye into a console connected to the tank, and it hissed open. Inside stood a guy who looked about my age, unnaturally handsome, and he appeared to be asleep. Oh my God. Who was that? Wait, did you guys kidnap someone? See, darling, I told you it looks real. Fantastic craftsmanship. I mean a real boy. Elina, meet Zenith 01, or, as we call him, Alan. Alan, introduce yourself to Elina. Are you setting me up with freaking ChatGPT? Greetings, Elina. I have been programmed for one primary function, to analyze and comprehend your heart, to serve as your greatest supporter, your trusted confidant, and to perceive every aspect of you, including your flaws, as beautiful. Flaws? What flaws? One super important thing, Elina. No one should ever find out that Alan is a robot. The tech used to build Alan is illegal. If anyone, especially Herman Robotics, finds out about him, we're in serious trouble. That company would stop at nothing to get their hands on him. Wow, he's just so pretty. Elina, did you listen to anything I said?
Yes. Yes, I heard you, Grandma.
I won't tell anyone.
Geez.
Now, when do I get them all to myself? My grandparents told me that they had a few last-minute tweaks to make. And the next morning, I found Alan standing next to my bed, smiling at me. Good morning, Elina. My scans indicate you have entered the rapid eye movement stage of sleep exactly 32 minutes and 18 seconds ago. You are watching me sleep? Don't do that. It's creepy. Noted. Is there anything else you'd like me to do? I'd love it if you talked like a normal guy. Noted. Yo, babe. What's up? Did you sleep good or whatever? By the way, you looking fire today. Want to grab a ride? Okay. No, stop. That's worse. Let's stick to whatever you were doing before. For the rest of the day, I had Alan all to myself, and it was kind of awesome. When I couldn't decide on breakfast, he whipped up the most beautiful smoothie bowl. When I struggled to pick a movie, he suggested a list of highly rated films. And when I got bored of staying home, he suggested we go out for a picnic. Everything was perfect until we got there and realized we hadn't brought any food. And then suddenly, Alan started unbuttoning his shirt. Alan, what are you doing? But when I opened my eyes again, I saw his chest opening up like a compartment to reveal a fridge where he stored all the food. How cool was that? The last week of summer flew by as Alan helped me check things off my bucket list, visiting the amusement park, trying desserts, and watching sunsets together. I was so used to Alan by now that it felt weird to go to school without him by my side. There you are. I was beginning to wonder if someone abducted you, since you've barely answered my calls all summer. You mean the 5 missed calls you've left me in like 60 days? Okay, fine. I was busy with Rodri, but we broke up. He has a very big head and very small feet. I should have walked away immediately. But he got me that new harmonica bottle, the one with the harmonica cap. Wait, you dated him because of a water bottle? Not just a water bottle, Elina, a bottle and a built-in musical instrument. Hydration and entertainment. I was weak. Oh, that's actually cool. Now I'm single and hydrated and ready for your drama. Now you tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how boring was your summer? Actually, I met someone. You what? Who? Where? Is he cute? More importantly, why was I not informed? His name's Alan, and he's, the son of the head of marketing at our company. Are you asking or telling? Never mind. I want to know everything. I showed Melissa some photos, and I just couldn't stop gushing about him, and I thought Melissa was impressed, but during lunch, she came rushing to me with excitement. Okay, Owen's great, but he's not officially your boyfriend, right? No, but perfect because there's this new guy, Mario. He's recently moved to town, and he's in my bio class. And guess what? The first thing he asked me was if you wanted to go out with him.
No, dummy. He asked about you.
I'm telling you, Elina, this guy is perfect for you. He's cute, funny, manly. Literally everything you've ever wanted in a guy. He told me he wants to meet you, and I told him you already met someone, but he's persistent. Meet me like now? Yeah, if that's not too much of a problem. I turned around and saw this really tall guy towering over me. Melissa introduced Mario to me and asked if he wanted to have lunch with us, and obviously he accepted. So, you're into robotics too? Melissa told me about your family business. She's into fashion and makeup. Can't you tell by how gorgeous she is? I swear her eyeliner skills are insane. She could do a perfect wing in like 3 seconds. It's basically her superpower. Gee, thanks Mel. I hope one day I can save the world with it. And Mario burst out laughing like I just cracked the funniest joke on the planet. He even joined us for our study session later and was so pushy with all his friendly questions that I barely got any of my homework done. Thankfully, when I got home, Alan was there to help. While Alan was steady and reassuring, Mario was relentless, and Melissa wasn't helping. She kept insisting he was good for me and started inviting him to everything. The cafeteria breaks, the library. Mel, I love you, but you've got to stop shipping me with Mario.
I'm not interested in him that way.
Then who are you interested in? Alan? 'Cause in that case, why haven't I met him yet? Because he's not. I think blah blah blah. Excuses. Either introduce me to Alan or date Mario. I knew Melissa wasn't going to let this go. So, a couple of days later, I invited her to hang out with me and Alan in the mall. As soon as she saw Alan, her eyes went wild. Wow, you're cute. Hello to you too, Melissa. I've heard a lot about you. Me, too. Is he always this formal, Elena? He's just really polite. Politeness often leads to respectful conversations, but I can adapt to the tone you prefer. It's cool. We wander around the mall shopping, and Melissa and I got caught up in nonstop laughter over school gossip. After an hour, she realized Alan hadn't picked out anything. Alan, didn't you see anything you liked yet? I was waiting for you to finish your conversation. Sorry, I didn't realize. Well, you can pick something now. Sure. Elina, what would you like me to wear? Alan just stood there like a rock, waiting for my command. I awkwardly picked up a pair of blue jeans and a white t-shirt and gave it to him. Isn't that a little boring? No, Melissa. If Elina likes this, so do I. It's my job to keep her happy at all times. I felt a little embarrassed that Alan had shut Melissa down so abruptly. There was really nothing I could do except smile. We just roamed around for a bit before pushing off home. And the next day at school, Melissa told me what she thought of Alan. Isn't he just weird? He agrees with everything you say? And didn't you see how he shut me down when I was on his side?
He just really cares about me.
And maybe it's hard for you to understand because you've only dated jerks. What's that supposed to mean? I didn't mean to be harsh. It's not my fault that most of Melissa's boyfriends were selfish, and Alan was kind and thoughtful. The tension lasted all day. And then Mario joined us at lunch.
Perfect.
He wouldn't stop talking and laughing, and Melissa joined in. My mood was a bit too sour to be part of their merrymaking. So, I decided to leave. Leaving so soon? Let her be. She's just cranky because of that weird boyfriend of hers. I felt mad that my best friend would say such a thing in front of someone I barely knew. So, I ignored both of them and went home. I decided not to speak to Melissa for some time. But later that day, the doorbell rang, and Melissa walked in. Hello, Melissa. What brings you here at this hour? I need to talk to my best friend alone. It's okay, Ellen. You can leave us alone. And Ellen nodded and left. Once we were alone, Melissa turned to me suspiciously. Why is this boy always hovering around you? And why is he at your house so late? Your parents don't have a problem? That's why you came here, to judge me more. No, I came here to say that Alan's not good for you. He's too intense. And something about the way he talks is creepy.
Take it from me.
This boy is bad news. Really? And who's good news? Mario, who can't read the room and realize we're annoyed and not in the mood for his dumb jokes. Oh my God, Elina. He was trying to cheer you up. Alan would have probably encouraged you to fight me right there on the cafeteria table. That's not true. Ellen's sweet and kind and acts like a freaking bot, unlike Mario, who's human. Enough with Mario. I'm not interested. How many times do I have to say that before? Before Melissa could say another word, Ellen walked in, looking angrier than I'd ever seen him, and grabbed Melissa's arm. You need to leave now. Melissa, let me go. But Ellen just opened the door and escorted her out. I was so angry. I stormed to my room, and Ellen walked in right behind me. Are you okay? No, I'm not. I don't understand why Mel is so pushy about Mario. Why can't she just let me be? She thinks she's so much better than me because she's been on a million dates, but she conveniently forgets that every single one of them ends in disaster. So, maybe she's not as smart as she thinks she is. If dating is so terrible, why do you want to do it? Because that's just how it works, Alan. People just want love.
Huh.
Interesting. She is so annoying. Does she bother you that much?
Yes.
I don't want her to talk to me ever again. For the next few days, Melissa just ignored me completely.
Fine.
I didn't care. I had Alan. I spent my breaks texting him, and he was always spot on with his replies. After school, we hung out, but his endless nodding and smiling started to feel empty. I missed Melissa, and I tried apologizing, but she wouldn't respond. We'd fought before, but usually we'd scream at each other, then 5 minutes later, she'd send me a meme, and it'd be over. But this felt different. I felt really down one day. So, when Ellen asked me if I was okay, I simply burst out crying. Melissa just won't talk to me. Yeah, I said some things, but we always say things when we fight. Why is she dragging this out so much? Because I told her to never speak to you again. You did what? I asked Melissa to. Yeah, I heard that.
But why?
You told me you don't want to speak to her again. Oh my God, Alan. I said that because I was angry. Don't you get that? I understand, but my system prioritizes your desires above all else. And you said, I can't believe how stupid I was. Go, and don't come back. Alan looked confused, not moving from his spot.
Why?
Why do you not understand how serious what you did was? But that's what you asked for. I did what you wanted. I didn't want to. Alan, do your job properly. Put my desires above all, and just leave me alone. Understood. Slowly, Ellen stood up and walked away. And now I was truly alone.
I had to talk to someone about this.
So, I decided to tell Grandma what Alan had done, hoping to get some advice.
Oh, wow.
He's smarter than we thought. Well, his smartness cost me my friendship.
No, darling.
You lost your friend because you chose perfection over real human connection. Alan follows your commands because that's what he's designed to do. But you can't expect real people to fit into your world perfectly. You have to meet them halfway. I know. But Ellen's the kind of guy I've always wanted. He's perfect. Like Grandpa is perfect for you. Dad is perfect for Mom. Why can't I have someone like that? When I started working with your grandpa, he couldn't stand me. Neither could anyone else in the lab. They didn't think women belonged there. It took years to prove myself. And forgiving him was another journey. And your mom was tough to live with. Your dad spent years adjusting to her temperament. We've all struggled, sweetie. No one's perfect. That's what makes us human. Grandma was right. And the next day at school, I walked into class thinking I'd talk to Melissa and fix things. But seeing her with her new boyfriend only made me more sad. She didn't need me. And I was ready to leave when Mario stepped in my way. You look sad. Let me guess. Your boyfriend did something again. I'm not sad. And Alan's not my boyfriend. Not anymore, that's for sure.
Great.
I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, there's this cute ice cream place that serves the best sundaes. No pressure, but I have a feeling you could use some company right now. I did need a distraction, so I agreed. And, to my surprise, it wasn't so bad. He was funny, sharp-witted, and surprisingly easy to talk to. The more time I spent with Mario, the more I found myself enjoying his company. And I started thinking we could be more than just friends. Until things started to get a little creepy. He kept asking about my grandparents, how they started their business, whether they were still inventing new technology, and if we could visit their labs, and weirdly enough, he was super curious about Alan. So, is Alan from this town?
Nope.
Then how did you guys meet? Through my parents. Do you have some pictures of the two of you? I don't have a social media account, so I haven't really seen how he looks. Why do you care so much? I don't. I'm just curious. Well, if you're so interested in Ellen, maybe I can set you two up on a date. You're funny. Mario's behavior seemed really off. So one night I decided to do some online digging. He didn't have any social media accounts, but after some searching, I finally found an old newspaper article. Turns out Mario's full name was Mario Herman, and he was the future heir of Herman Robotics, the same company Grandma had warned me about. So that's why he was so curious about Alan. He knew he was a robot. That was the only possible explanation. I rushed to the basement. I had to make sure Alan was well guarded now that I knew what Mario was really after. But when I went down, Alan wasn't around. I searched the whole house, even spoke to the servants, but no one had a clue. I was losing my mind when I got a call from Melissa. Melissa, hey, come and get your creepy boyfriend. He's in my house forcing me to meet you because your emotional stability is his #1 priority. Oh my God. Just please sit tight. I'll be right there. You better, or I will hit him with a frying pan. I strongly advise against that, Melissa. My exterior casting is tough. Your fry pan will sustain irreparable damage. You see what I mean? He's crazy. I immediately rushed to Melissa's house, which was just a few blocks away. I barged into her room, and there in the middle stood Ellen, looking confused. I stepped toward him and reached into my pocket, pulled out the key, and inserted it into the small slot on his back. In an instant, Ellen shut down. What was that? What did you do to him? Nothing.
He's just resting.
That's it. I'm calling the cops.
No, wait.
Melissa, let me explain. I told Melissa everything about Alan, how he was a robot and how my grandparents made him for me. And Melissa just looked shocked. He's a robot?
How?
He looks so real.
Yes.
And I thought I could control him, but clearly I was wrong. But the worst part is Mario. I gave him a chance, but I've just found out he's about to inherit our rival company, Herman Robotics. He was using me to get to Alan. I'm sure of it. No wonder he was so persistent about meeting you. I'm so sorry, Elina. I shouldn't have pushed you so hard to go out with that weirdo. It's okay. You didn't know. But now I have a plan and I need you. Whatever it is, I'm in. I gave Melissa a rundown of our plan and she loved the idea. We needed a boy to help us out, and she convinced her boyfriend to be a part of it. The next day, we got to work. Mask, makeup, colored lenses, and clothes that made Melissa's boyfriend look almost too perfect to be human. Once everything was in place, we set the plan in motion. Morning, beautiful. Is everything okay? Not really. No, it's Alan. He wants to get back with me, but I told him that I like you. And now he's mad. He says he wants to fight you. But I don't think you should. Instead of looking concerned, Mario's smirk only deepened. This was perfect for him. A chance to finally face Alan in person. You think I'm scared of him? When does he want to meet? I'll be there. He's waiting for us in the school courtyard. But please, Mario, don't go.
Don't try to stop me.
Mario puffed out his chest and marched toward the courtyard, and I ran after him. As soon as we reached the courtyard, I pointed to the bench where Melissa's boyfriend sat posing as Alan. I know what you are. A guy trying to read in peace. Oh, you think you can fool me, you freak of nature?
Get up and fight me.
Let's see what's under this sleeve. I bet everyone here would love to see some gears and wires. Dude, let go. But Mario kept tugging at his sleeve, trying to rip his shirt. Just then, a big burly guy stepped in. Mario's brother. I recognized him from the newspaper article. So, this is the robot you were talking about. Looks pretty real to me. And now he's ours. They lunged at Melissa's boyfriend, but he broke free and sprinted toward the cafeteria. Someone call security. Mario and his brother chased him into the cafeteria, and Melissa and I went running after. Just as we arrived, Mario hurled a chair at Melissa's boyfriend, and it crashed into a vending machine, sending a loud crack through the room, and all the students froze in place. Mario, stop. You're going to hurt someone. Someone or your precious robot. I know your family's dirty little secret. My family moved me to your school. Herman Robotics is done being second place to you freaks. Have you lost it completely? He's not a robot. Shut up, Elina. My parents have been watching you. I know your grandparents developed this robot in their secret lab using illegal technology and named him Alan. You think I was following you around because I liked you? Get real. Listen up, everyone. Elena's family is crazy. They built this life-sized robot because their precious little girl is too dumb to find a real boyfriend. And this is just a prototype. They are building an army of robots using illegal tech, so one day they would take over the whole town. Let me show you. With that, Mario marched over to Melissa's boyfriend and started twisting the top of his head like he was trying to open a jar of jam.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
Hey, that's enough. You're hurting him. How the heck is that a robot if he's literally bleeding? Cut it out with this dumb joke already. Mario spun around ready to yell at that guy, and Melissa's boyfriend seized the opportunity to break free. He stumbled to the ground wincing in pain while a group of guys rushed over to help him up. Melissa immediately ran to his side. The entire cafeteria erupted as people started throwing accusations at Mario and his brother. They desperately tried to defend themselves, insisting over and over that it was really a robot. But at this point, no one was buying it. Meanwhile, I sent a quick message to the principal explaining what was happening. And minutes later, he walked in, followed by 2 police officers. What's going on here, sir? This guy is assaulting my friend. He pushed him and started telling everyone that he's a robot. That's a lie, sir. Elina's family has a robot. They have a robot in their basement that looks like a man. They built it using illegal technology. They tricked me into thinking their friend was the robot. Mario, that's nonsense. Do you hear yourself? You have to believe me. But the principal asked the officers to arrest Mario and his brother for assault and then kick them off school property. It's not my fault. Mario's got problems. He's on meds for his head. I'm not crazy. This whole school is insane. I hesitantly walked over to Melissa and her boyfriend, feeling a little worried. What if I went too far? What if he actually got hurt? But before I could say anything, Melissa turned to me with a really weird look on her face. Elina, I don't think this is my boyfriend. Excuse me, what now? Melissa's boyfriend lifted his head and looked right at me. Now that I was this close, I could clearly see no wig, no contacts. It was Alan himself. Alan? But you were in pain. We all saw it. Was it convincing? I tried to use everyday language that a teenager would use to fit in, but my calculations suggest I may have overestimated the appropriate pain response. As for the blood, I synthesized it myself and applied it to my hand. Why are you here? After you returned me to the lab last night, and your grandparents started me up again, someone attempted to hack into my system multiple times. They failed, of course, but based on this, I deduced that their real target was either you or your family. Upon further research, I identified the source, Herman Robotics. More specifically, Mario Herman, and I know you don't want to see me anymore, but I was worried about you. I wanted to protect you, Elina. Melissa was gazing at Alan with literal sparkles in her eyes, like he was a puppy who had just successfully learned his first trick. I was feeling a little emotional, too. How can he be capable of feeling or wanting something? Out of literally nowhere, Melissa's actual boyfriend appeared, out of breath and looking frantic. I'm here. I'm here. I made it in time, right? I couldn't get the contact lenses in by myself. What? I dropped Alan back home and gave my grandparents the full rundown of what happened with Mario and his brother. Naturally, they were furious. But keeping Alan's true identity a secret was more important, so they decided not to go to the police. Well, at least Alan was there to protect you. I wonder how he got that idea. That's what was weird.
Alan said he was worried about me. He wanted to protect me.
I could erase my progress if you're not happy with it, but personally, I kind of like to keep it.
No, Alan.
Sweetie, absolutely not. This is a scientific breakthrough. Do you realize how big this is? This is Nobel Prize material. After that, Alan practically lived in the lab. Grandma and Grandpa's greatest project. He became family, loved by all. I missed having him to myself, but I had bigger problems, like surviving Melissa's matchmaking. They've got this robot down in their basement, looks just like a real dude. They built the thing using some tech that's totally illegal. And get this, they actually tricked me into thinking their friend was the robot. Mario, come on, that's just plain crazy talk. Do you even hear yourself? You gotta believe me on this one. But the principal went ahead and asked the cops to arrest Mario and his brother for assault, and then they got them kicked off school property for good. It's not my fault, I swear. Mario's got some serious issues, you know? He's on medication for his head. I'm not the one who's nuts here. This whole school is totally bonkers. I walked over to Melissa and her boyfriend, but I was feeling pretty hesitant, a little worried, to be honest. What if I'd gone too far with this whole thing? What if he was actually hurt? But before I could even say a word, Melissa turned to me, and she had this really strange look on her face. She said, Elina, I don't think this is my boyfriend. I was like, excuse me?
What are you even talking about now?
Melissa's boyfriend then lifted up his head and looked straight at me. And now that I was standing so close, I could see clear as day that there was no wig on, no contacts in. It was Alan himself. I exclaimed, Alan?
But
you were in pain. We all saw it. He replied, was it convincing enough? I tried to use all the everyday slang and language that a teenager would use, so I could fit in better. But my calculations are telling me that I might have overestimated the appropriate amount of pain response that was needed. And then he added, as for the blood, I actually synthesized it myself and then applied it to my hand. So I asked him, why are you even here? Alan responded with, after you returned me to the lab last night and your grandparents powered me back up again, someone tried to hack into my system multiple times. They failed, of course, but based on that, I figured out that their real target was either you or someone in your family. After doing some more research, I found out that it was Herman Robotics who was responsible. And more specifically, Mario Herman, and I know that you don't want to see me anymore, but the truth is that I was really worried about you. I wanted to protect you, Elina. Melissa was just staring at Alan, with literal sparkles in her eyes, like he was some kind of puppy who'd just learned how to do his first trick. And I was feeling kind of emotional too, if I'm being honest. How could he even be capable of feeling something or wanting something? Then, out of absolutely nowhere, Melissa's actual boyfriend suddenly appeared, completely out of breath and looking totally frantic. He yelled, I'm here. I'm here. I made it in time, right? I couldn't manage to get the contact lenses in all by myself. We were all just like, what? I brought Alan back home and then gave my grandparents the full rundown on everything that had happened with Mario and his brother. Naturally, they were absolutely furious. But keeping Alan's real identity a secret was way more important, so they decided that they weren't going to go to the police about it. My grandma told me, well, at least Alan was there to protect you from all this. I wonder how he even got that idea. I responded with, that's what was so weird about it all. Alan said that he was worried about me. He actually wanted to protect me. My grandpa spoke up saying, I could erase my progress if you aren't happy with it, but personally, I kind of like to keep it. My grandma then cut in with, no, Alan. Sweetie, absolutely not. This is a major scientific breakthrough. Do you even realize how huge this is? This is Nobel Prize material. After all of that, Alan basically ended up living in the lab. He became Grandma and Grandpa's greatest project ever. He was practically part of the family. Loved by everyone. I missed having him all to myself, but I had some bigger problems to worry about, like trying to survive Melissa's relentless matchmaking.